Okay, let's see what we have today. Okay, so our essential questions. Do I need to read something before that? Okay, our essential questions. Reading. Metacognitive. Visualize. What can you see when you read, and how does what you have seen in real life impact it? And in reading comprehension, make inferences. How can I use what I know to figure out what I don't know? And then understandings, reading, metacognitive, visualize. Visualizing helps us better understand something. And in the reading comprehension, make inferences. Depending on our background knowledge and the available information, some inferences will be stronger than others. So our read aloud, that's our focus. Okay, our learning intention is I can define what visualize means. So we have to figure that out. And I can identify senses that are used to help visualize. And our success criteria, I know I have got it when I can visualize how does she feel using a graphic organizer. Do I have access to this graphic organizer? Mm-hmm. And are we going to do that after the reading?
Yeah, I can put it in there.
Okay. Okay, how does she feel? How can you make an inference from a picture? What do you see in this picture? Let's do Michelle Obama's picture first. What do you see?
She looks confused.
Raise your hand.
Ariana?
She looks like angry,
You think she looks angry or mad? Eli?
It looks like she's confused.
She looks confused. Okay, Damani? You think she looks happy? Brooklyn?
I feel like she doesn't have an expression or she's just kind
Okay. Brooklyn says she feels like Michelle Obama is expressionless. No expression. Ava? Just her normal face. Yeah, Ariana? That's a look of frustration. That's what Ariana sees, a look of frustration. What about the other picture?
Sad.
Eli?
Crying.
Crying, right? She looks sad. Jeremy?
Sad.
Sad. Lola?
Frustrated.
Frustrated.
She probably sad, but at the same time, they could be happy tears.
That's a good point.
What?
They could be happy tears. I have definitely cried happy tears before. Yeah. Okay.
Never do.
How would her face is she looks like
So how can you make an inference from this picture?
someone saying happened or something really good happened.
First of all, do we know what inference is?
Yeah.
What is inference? Yes?
Like when you look at the picture and guess what's going on.
Look at the picture and try to guess what's going on. Does everybody agree?
Yeah.
That's what that means? Okay, so the question is, how can you make an inference from a picture? How can you make an inference from a picture? Eli?
Like you can tell how they feel.
You can tell how they feel,
What happened?
what happened, why they look like that. Ava?
What they're doing.
Actually, what they're doing. Okay. Oh, we have vocabulary. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I need us to be investigators again. We need to figure out what rafter means. Can anybody let me know what rafter means? Rafter, you see it? What is the definition of a rafter? Yes. Robert? Lola?
One of several internal beams extending from the eaves to the peak of a roof and constituting its framework.
Okay, so you said it was like a beam in a ceiling or a roof. Did you hear that? Yeah, there it is. Yes. You were going to say, oh. Yes, and there's the picture right there. Right?
Yeah, it's like this.
Exactly. That is a raptor. A beam in a ceiling or a roof. Okay?
Kind of like this.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. All right. What's the next one? Scattered. Who has the definition? Harmony. Your keys over there. I'm sorry.
It's just a whole bunch of stuff that's
Everywhere. I can't hear you.
it's like just a whole bunch of stuff that's just like going on.
Things that are thrown everywhere. Michaela? Bless you. A lot of things in different places. Brooklyn?
I looked it up and I found two.
Okay. Brooklyn has two definitions.
Occurring or found.
I can't hear you, Brooklyn. I'm sorry.
Occurring or found at. I don't know how to say that word.
What spell it? What is it?
Intervals
Intervals.
or various locations rather than altogether, and informal of a person distracted or disorganized.
Like scatterbrained, like your thoughts are everywhere, just like what we said, right? Things are everywhere, out of place, just scattered all over the place, right? Just thrown around.
Use the word in the definition.
Thrown around. So we understand what scattered is?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next word? Harmony.
It's like a sneaky type stuff.
Sneaky, yes. Yes, Michaela?
Like having or showing it. I don't know how to say this.
Cunning.
I can't hear you.
Is it cunning?
Spell cunning. Cunning. Yes, yes.
And deceitful in nature.
Deceitful. Yes, deceitful in nature. Sly. Yes, Robert?
I was gonna say crafty or tricky.
Crafty or tricky. Yes, sneaky. That's what sly is. Okay. The next word.
What is it?
I don't know. Mr. McDowell, what is this word?
Where?
The last word.
Ruckus, probably.
That's ruckus?
Not Uncle Ruckus.
It's rocket.
It has to be ruckus because the definition is making a disturbingly harsh and loud sound.
Ruckus, yeah.
Noise. Ruckus.
See?
I've never seen it spelled that way.
Making a loud noise.
A harsh and loud noise, right? That's what that means? Okay. Let's keep going. All right, so we have the definitions. Okay, here's the book. What? Do I have the book, Mr. McDowell?
It should be a link to it.
I don't see it.
Just click on the book.
The book, click on the book.
Oh wait, no, it's gonna be old. She can't hook on it. Oh, no.
Let me find it in the book. Oh, let me get it for you real quick. It's in my reading out. Okay. We can talk about the question now.
Okay, so the question is, it says, what clues does the cover illustration reveal about the setting of the story? We're looking at the cover, right? So what clues does the cover illustration reveal about the setting of the story? Lola.
It kind of looks like they're in a grassland, like farmland.
It could be farmland, okay, Eli?
I could tell maybe it the brother and the sister, because I could and they live on a farm, but they get out on a walk, because you could see in the background there's a little farm.
Yeah, they could be related and they could live on that farm that's in the distance. Brooklyn?
First of all, because of how bright it is, we know that it's daytime.
Mm-hmm.
First of all. Second,
Good
yeah,
observation.
Farm.
Mm-hmm.
Farm. That could also be her dad.
Still a relation.
Okay. That's a good thought. That's a good thought. Michaela?
Where they are, I could be wrong, but there could be two choices where what they are on.
Mm-hmm.
They're either on
A hill.
or a weirdly shaped mountain.
Or a weirdly shaped mountain. Okay. Because they do seem far up, right? They do seem a little far up. Okay. Now, how can this illustration represent the story's resolution? You know what that means? How does this illustration, what do you think the end result of the story is going to be by looking at this picture? What do you think? don't know, but maybe they ran away.
Maybe.
You know, maybe. I haven't read the story yet, but that may be an end result of the story.
They could have lost their farm.
They could have lost the farm, so they had to move away, and they're looking at it, reminiscing, like, oh, I'm going to miss it. Yes?
They're like going somewhere, like they're taking a trip.
Or they could be taking a trip. You're right. They could be taking a trip. All right, are we ready to listen to the story?
Yeah.
The story is called All the Places to Love by Patricia McLachlan. McLachlan? Okay, here we go. On the day I was born, my grandmother wrapped me in a blanket made from the wool of her sheep. Oh, that's sentimental. She held me up in the open window so that what I heard first was the wind. What I saw first were all the places to love. The valley, the river falling down over rocks, the hilltop where the blueberries grew. My grandfather was painting the barn, and when he saw me, he cried. He carved my name, Eli. Aww. On a rafter beside his name and grandmother's name and the names of my papa and mama. Mama carried me on her shoulders before I could walk. Through the meadows and hay fields, the cows watched us and the sheep scattered. The dogs ran ahead, looking back with a sly smile. When the grass was high, only their tails showed. When I was older, Papa and I plowed the fields. Where else is soil so sweet, he said. Once Papa and I lay down in the field, holding hands, and the birds surrounded us. Ruckus black grackles, redwings, crows in the dirt that swaggered like pirates. When we left, Papa put a handful of dirt in his pocket. I did too. My grandmother loved the river best of all the places to love. That sound like a whisper, she said, gathering in pools where trout flashed like jewels in the sunlight. Grandmother sailed like bark boats downriver to me with messages. I love you, Eli, one said. Can you see? We jumped from rock to rock to rock across the river to where the woods began, where bunchberry grew under the pine needle path and a trillium bloomed, under the beech tree with the soft rounded bed where a deer had slept. The bed was warm when I touched it. When spring rains came and the meadow turned to marsh, cattails stood like guards and killdeers called. Ducks nested by marsh marigolds, and the old turtle, his shell all worn, no matter how slow, still surprised me. So Eli loved nature, huh? I can see.
Eli, do you?
Sometimes we climbed to the place Mama loved best, with our blueberry buckets and a chair for my grandmother. To the blueberry barren where no trees grew. The sky an arm's length away, where marsh hawks skimmed over the land, and bears came to eat fruit, and wild turkeys left footprints for us to find, like messages. Where else, said Mama, can I see the sun rise on one side and the sun set on the other? My grandfather's barn is sweet-smelling and dark and cool. Leather harnesses hang like paintings against old wood, and hay dust floats like gold in the air. Grandfather once lived in the city, and once he lived by the sea, but the barn is the place he loves most. Where else, he says, can the soft sound of cows chewing make all the difference in the world? Today, we wait. Him sitting on a wooden slat chair and me on the hay. Until much later, my grandmother holds up a small bundle in the open window, wrapped in a blanket made from the wool of her sheep, and my grandfather's cries. Together, we carved the name Sylvie in the rafter, beside the names of grandfather and grandmother and my mama and papa and me. My sister was born. Someday I might live in the city. Someday I might live by the sea. But soon I will carry Sylvie on my shoulders through the fields. I will send her messages down river in small boats, and I will watch her at the top of the hill, trying to touch the sky. I will show her my favorite place, the marsh, where ducklings follow their mother like tiny tumbles of leaves. Oh.
Does that help?
All the places to love are here, I tell her. No matter where you live, where else, I will say, does an old turtle crossing the path make all the difference in the world? That was a good book. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
It was very descriptive.
Eli. Do you love it?
Eli didn't like it.
Eli, you didn't like it.
Because I want training and kept on doing.
What I do? I said, do you love nature?
loved it.
Okay. The author said he carved my name Eli on a rafter beside his name and grandmother's name and the names of my papa and mama. And you visualized what? Brooklyn?
Picture in my head of the papa just covered with a knife his name.
Okay. You can see him with the knife carving those names. Okay. Anybody else see anything else? Okay. You inferred. From what the author said, what did you infer? Lola?
Well, I visualized it has one of our words in it that we talked about.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. Okay, so what did you infer? Can anybody tell me?
What did that mean?
Again, what does infer mean? And if you don't know, we need to look it up, right?
How do you spell that?
I-N-F-E-R. Who's the investigator? Brooklyn, go ahead.
Deduce or conclude information from evidence and reasoning rather from
Explicit.
Explicit states. Okay, so your understanding of something. If I'm wrong, Mr. McDowell, let me know. I'm trying to paraphrase it, but your thought of something after you saw it.
So it's like when you make an inference, you take. It's like drawing conclusions. You take what the author said in the book, and then your background knowledge, and you put those things together to come up with your inference. Because when you make an inference, it's not always something that will be directly said in the book. That's what explicit means. It won't be explicitly said, but you will be able to figure that out by looking at what you see and what you know in your head.
Okay. So can anybody answer that? What did you infer? So now that we have read the book and we know what happened, the author said he carved my name Eli on a rafter beside his name and grandmother's name and the names of my papa and mama. So you visualized the bead, right? Okay, Ava?
So like they probably do that because they want to show who was born on that farm and stuff.
They want to show who was born on that farm. That's why he carved the names on the beam. Okay. Here's the next one. The author said, Mama carried me on, her shoulders. It says his, but Mama carried me on her shoulders before I could walk. Through the meadows and hay fields, the cows watched us and the sheep scattered. The dogs ran ahead, looking back with sly smiles. When the grass was high, only their tails showed. What did you visualize? Brooklyn?
Dogs just
Creeping? Okay. All right, Jeremiah? The same thing.
Like the dogs trying to walk.
I see. Okay. So then what did you infer? Brooklyn.
that the dogs were, you know how it said that they were civilized.
Mhm.
Like they were probably gonna chase after the sheep later.
because they were looking sly. I get Eli.
maybe because sometimes when dogs are on the farm, they work.
Mhm.
Maybe they were going to play because it was their break time.
Okay. Okay. Here's the next one. When we left, Papa put a handful of dirt in his pocket. I did too. What did you visualize? Brooklyn?
Just a kid just picking up dirt and just.
Shoving it in his pocket. Okay, so.
My cousin does that.
Really?
Like he
I put
actually
dirt
just
in my
like
mouth.
picks up dirt and rocks and puts it in his pocket. And I'm just like.
When I was young.
Okay, so now that we read the story, right, what did you infer? Ava?
That he put it inside his pocket and he wanted to be like his
He
Grandpa.
wanted to be. That's a good observation. He wanted to be like his papa, right?
Yep.
Okay. Gathering in pools where trout flashed like jewels in the sunlight. What did you see when I read that, Michaela?
like a little river,
A river,
with the shiny fish.
shiny fish in it, glistening. Anybody else? That's what everybody's visualized. Okay, so what did you infer? Lola.
Like shiny fish.
Shiny fish.
Like a big lake, because they did say in the book that there was a lake
Mm-hmm.
or a river, and that they were like watching them jump out the water.
Watching them jump out of the water. Okay, Michaela? I thought you had your hand up. Anybody else? Nobody else? Is there anything else I should add to this slide? Okay, so this is saying, oh, we did that already. Okay.
That's right.
Oh, that's it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Okay, so what did we learn today?
We learned story.
Michaela, what did we learn today?
I learned about like a little farm
Mm-hmm.
and how they had little lakes and stuff.
Okay.
And like fish with shanks.
Okay, Robert?
I learned about Eli doesn't like this book.
Lola?
Or about inferencing.
Yes, very good, very good.
Visualize.
And visualization, very good. Okay. Well, that was a good lesson. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Eli, your favorite.
Yeah, thank you.
His face is so red.
All right.